breaking down the latest in Leafs Nation. Make sure to subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast, wherever you get a podcast, and also on YouTube as well. All right, Dave. So we've gone through a couple of the big storylines. Obviously, the new faces that are going to be there. We're excited to see what they're all about. The Michellis, Nicola Waugh, Dakota Joshua's of the world. Easton Cowan is going to be a big storyline, and whether or not he can crack the lineup. What type of development curve will he take in his first pro season in hockey? So Easton Cowan, big time storyline here. What's the top storyline for you though heading into to training camp?
For me, are we going to see Austin Matthews healthy and ready to go for the year? We haven't seen the guy. We have not seen the guy at 100% since last training camp. Right? We knew that in training camp something happened. We don't know what it is, and it bothered him.
They know. They know what it was.
We don't know. They knew. We had no idea. The doctors in Germany knew. We didn't know. I want to see, will he be the assertive Austin Matthews? Will his shot have the velocity that it didn't have last year? Is he what type of Austin Matthews are we going to get in training camp? That's the big one for me.
Yeah, it's real interesting because I think Austin Matthews will almost have to not that he's going to have to reinvent his game, but it is going to be different, right? Without Mitch Marner. It's he's played without Marner a lot throughout his career. Don't get me wrong. There's very often those two get separated when things aren't going right throughout the season. But he's going to, have to take on a more assertive role out on the ice. So it'll be fascinating to see if he, does that right out the get-go from camp and what that looks like. Does that look like, is he going to take on more responsibilities as a captain, I suppose? Is he going to be more vocal? So those are things that I guess off the ice I will be interested to see when it comes to Austin Matthews in the next couple of weeks. Does it look any different in year two as the captain? What did he learn when it comes to wearing the C, specifically for the Toronto Maple Leafs? So that I am excited to see. I'm curious to see if there's any difference in his disposition based off of that. But ultimately for me, I think it's the competition for his wing spot is what I think is the top storyline heading into camp. We already know that Matthew Knies is going to sit shotgun on his left, and that's the pair to start out, and Craig Berube talked about it a lot. He's a guy who believes more in pairs than lines, and that's the pair right now is Knies and Matthews, and then Tavares and Nylander are the pair on the second line. But who's gonna fill out those other wing spots to make it the trio? And you're looking at a group of players: Max Domi, Matthias Michelli, Nick Robertson. Could Nylander? Could they decide? All right, let's load it up and throw Nylander up on the top line and go Willie, Matthews, and Knies. It's very possible that they could get a look at it at the very least and see how that looks. Easton Cowan, he'll probably get an opportunity in camp to see what he could do on that line. Dakota Joshua, does he get an opportunity to see if he can go and bang and have that become more of a heavier top line as opposed to a more skilled top line? So I'm excited to see what that camp battle turns out to be, because I think that there's a few viable options. Nothing is set in stone. I think it's a real competition, and what a competition it is. What a reward it would be to the guy who wins it. You get to start the year next to Austin Matthews and Matthew Knies on the top line of the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is going to be a fun battle. And I think that these guys should be going balls to wall to show that they're worthy of that spot in the lineup. And definitely this battle, this storyline, who gets to be the third on that line, that to me is the top thing I'm looking for in camp.
Yeah, I mean it's the most important position I think right now that needs to be solved, right? And I think there are some options. Are they the best options that the Leafs can find? Probably not, because best option left out of town in free agency. So I do think that
he was traded.
Sorry, he left. He was traded. I do think that there is a case to be made, though, that I think they should be open to different options. I know everyone's penciling in Max Domi right now. I'm sure Michelli might get an opportunity at some point once they're comfortable with what and he's comfortable. But, if I'm looking at, I look at a guy like Bob McMahon who had a good start to the year and kind of fizzled. Can he put himself in that conversation? Like, I think there are players that maybe, in the past may have not gone that opportunity that might get it now. So I'm curious to see how that will work.
Absolutely. So those are some of the top storylines that we're intrigued by and will be taking a look for throughout the next couple of weeks here in Maple Leafs training camp. Curious to hear from the listeners. You can reach out to us online on Twitter. Reach out to us if you're watching on YouTube in the comment section below. What else are you intrigued by? What other camp battles or storylines are you interested in for the Maple Leafs over the next couple of weeks? Let us know down below or online on Twitter. One other thing that I wanted to bring up and discuss with you, Dave, and we haven't talked about it in a couple of days, I guess. But as of now, and to be honest, it's the night before camp as of the time that we are recording this, so I suppose we could wake up to some news. But as of now, it appears Connor McDavid will be heading to training camp without a contract. Without an extension, I should say. He is contracted to play this year, but no extension in place, which would make him a free agent at the end of this upcoming season. Where do you think the concernometer is now for McDavid? I thought, or for Oilers fans, I always thought that this would be a big inflection point on the concernometer, where there were still a few weeks for him to get something sorted out. He had come out and talked about he wanted to be patient. He wanted to talk it over with his family, talk it over with his agent and figure out the future. Well, they've had weeks since we last heard from him at the Hockey Canada event, where was it the Olympic? What they call it? The Olympic. Whatever, all the Olympians.
The Olympic
were there.
orientation camp?
Orientation, that's what I was looking for. The Olympic orientation camp. It's been a few weeks and still have not had any extension to announce. Now, again, we could wake up in the morning and there could be an extension. If that's the case, then just completely disregard everything that we're about to say, obviously.
Yeah.
But if that does not happen, if the people who are listening to this and this contract has not been signed, no extension is signed, and McDavid enters day one of camp without a deal, like, where's the concernometer for Edmonton at this point?
I mean, it should be concerning, similar to how it was getting concerning with Mitch Marner, because this is a player that, like, obviously Connor McDavid, you lose Connor McDavid, you cannot replace him. And look, everything he's been saying up until this point has made me, I've said it, like, it's just, he doesn't seem very, I wouldn't say committed. He's not convinced with the direction of the team. He kind of said, like, I need to see where things are going. Clearly, if he liked where things were going, he would have signed. And he says, I want to try to win with this team. You've had 2 shots at a Stanley Cup. Teams rarely, I mean, Florida's, yes, been to 3 in a row. They also won 2 of the 3. Like, it's been clear that there's just things aren't working there, and a lot of it gets put on his shoulders, on Leon Draisaitl's shoulder. I just think that it'll be even more concerning if we're getting towards. I mean, remember with Nylander, I think he signed in January.
Yeah, he signed his deal. Yeah, it was mid-season.
Right, I think I was away when he signed his deal. I was on a vacation when he signed his deal, but there wasn't as much worry about Nylander leaving as there is with McDavid, because he hasn't said the one thing that we always like to hear from these players. This is where I want to be. I want to be here. This is where I want to spend my future. And even people who say that he will stay, they're like, it could be on a short-term deal.
Right.